Hello everyone, this is Dr. Siddlingmurthy SM, HOD of Botany, ADB First Aid College, Harpanalli. My dear students, today I am going to tell you about plant hormones, that is plant growth regulators. In the earlier class, I have discussed about the respiration, that is the third step in the respiration, electron transport system and oxidative phosphorylation. So after the completion of that topic, I want to tell you about the phytohormones. Before I come to the actual part, let me give you some introduction. So you all know the word hormones. Hormones are very important. Even in our body also, different types of hormones are produced. And if these hormones are not secreted in the required quantity, that leads to the problems. So exactly like that, hormones are also produced in the plants. And these hormones are responsible for the proper growth, flowering, seed production, and also yield. So we shall discuss how exactly the hormones are produced in the plant body, what are their chemical nature, what are the types of hormones. So that all we shall discuss now. Plant growth regulators, otherwise called as plant hormones. Plant hormones were first defined by the German botanist Julius von Sachs, who indicated that plants are able to produce substances which are transported and hence perceived by plant tissues, resulting in the formation of different parts. We can also say that plant growth regulators are nothing but chemical substances which are produced at one region of the plant body, move to the other parts of the plant body where they show their effect. So here the important thing is that hormones are produced in very less quantity, but their effects will be more, and they are transferred from one region to the other region. In fact, they show their effect in the regions other than their site of productions. So this is how we can say that plant growth regulators can be defined as chemical substances that control all the aspects of growth and development within plants. They are also referred to as plant growth hormones, otherwise called as phytohormones. We can say that plant growth hormones are organic compounds which are either produced naturally within the plant body or synthesized in the laboratory. It means hormones are synthesized naturally, and we can also produce the hormones in the laboratories. So those hormones which are artificially synthesized in the laboratory, they are nothing but the synthetic hormones, and they have certain practical applications. That is why they are produced in the industries or in the laboratory. They control and modify various physiological processes like growth, development, movement of plant's body. The plant hormones are broadly divided into two types. One type are called as plant growth promoters, and other type are known as plant growth inhibitors. So as the term itself says, those hormones which promote the growth, it means which influence the growth, are known as growth promoters. And these growth promoters include three types: auxins, gibberellins, and cytokinins. Other type, that is plant growth inhibitors, as the term says, these hormones inhibit the growth. They are abscisic acid and ethylene. So now let us discuss about first type, that is the plant growth promoters. So these hormones promote the growth: auxins, gibberellins, and cytokinins. So let us discuss now auxins. In fact, the auxin means to grow. The auxins were first enzymes discovered. It was F.W. Wendt who identified these growth promoting substances in the coleoptile. So, in the coleoptile of grasses, particularly oat grass, the hormones were identified by the auxins. Later on, these hormones were extracted, separated, and tested on the agar also, and thereby their effect on growth was confirmed. So there are naturally occurring auxins in the plant body and also synthetic auxins available. Auxins are one of the most important plant hormones. The naturally occurring auxin, particularly IAA, indole acetic acid. And there are some synthetic auxins because auxins have several practical applications. So therefore, several synthetic auxins are available now. For example, indole butyric acid, even IAA also available. Then naphthalene acetic acid, NAA, IBA, indole butyric acid, then 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, 2,4,5-T, 2,4,5-trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So like that, several synthetic auxins are also available in the market. So this is the chemical nature of the auxin. The very important part of the auxins is the physiological effects. Number one is phototropism. You know the meaning of phototropism, that is growth towards the source of light. So the auxins are responsible for the phototropic nature of the plant. As you know that most of the plant parts grow towards the source of light. How it is possible? It is all because of the auxins. So the auxins that are facing towards the source of light are less than the other side, that is the side which is away from the source of light, that is on the shaded side. So as more auxins are found in the shaded portion than the side that is exposed to the light, so more activity or cell elongation occurs on the shaded side. So that leads to the curvature of the plant axis. So thereby what happens? The plant curves or grow towards the source of light. So this is how the phototropic nature of the shoot is mainly due to the effect of auxin. Similarly, geotropism, that is growth of the plant organ towards the source of gravity or towards the earth. So here what happens? The root, particularly, it grows towards the ground. When a plant axis put horizontally, shoot and root of the axis lie horizontally, same thing, auxins accumulate on lower side both in the root and shoot, but in case of shoot, the lower accumulation of the auxins show positive effect and thereby elongation occurs and the plant axis move upwards. While in the geotropism, what happens? More accumulation of auxins have negative effect, that is higher dose of auxins will inhibit the growth. So thereby what happens? The growth of the root bend towards down, that is towards the earth. So this is how geotropism is also due to the activity of auxins. Higher dose of auxins on the lower side have inhibitory or negative effect. So that leads to the curvature towards the earth. Then third one, apical dominance. Normally the plant grow more in the lengthwise than in the horizontal size, or in other words, lateral growth is less compared to the terminal or the apical growth. It is because apical buds are more dominant than the lateral buds. So here what happens? The auxins accumulate less in the lateral buds than in the terminal bud. So more hormones in the terminal bud or in the apical bud leads to the terminal growth. So here the apical buds dominate over the lateral buds. So this phenomenon is known as what? Apical dominance. That is why in the horticulture and in the gardens what happens? They cut off the tip of the plant axis. Thereby they remove the apical dominance. So when they remove the apical bud, what happens? The lateral bud will become active. So that will help in the horizontal growth or particularly in case of hedge plants. The next one is root initiation on stem cuttings. So the stem cuttings, particularly it may be sugarcane, rose and other parts, they are usually dipped in the auxin solution. So that will promote the buds present on the stem cuttings, help in the active growth of the buds and thereby new plants are developed. Parthenocarpy, you know the meaning of parthenocarpy? It is the development of fruit without fertilization and pollination. So seedlet fruits are available. If we spray auxins, what happens? Without pollination and fertilization, the auxin stimulate the growth of the ovary, and thereby the ovary increases in size and will develop into the fruit. So what the stimulus is given by pollination or the fertilization, the same stimulus is given by auxins, so that without fertilization ovary develops into the fruit. So several seedless fruits are because of parthenocarpy that can be induced by auxins. Sex determination. There are some plants which produce unisexual flowers, and as you know that female flowers are more useful because they develop into fruits. So in cucurbits, male and female flowers are produced. So female flower number can be increased by the applications of auxins. So this is how auxin will determine the sex of the flower. Particularly, it will induce the formation of the female flower and thereby increases the growth. So now let us discuss about the second type of growth promoter, that is called as gibberellins. In fact, these are the hormones. They were first identified in a fungus called Gibberella fusicori. This Gibberella fusicori cause a disease in the rice plant that is called Bakane disease, otherwise called as foolish seedling disease. The rice seedlings, they used to grow pale, thin and taller. So later on, that tall, pale growth of the plant is due to the certain substance produced by the fungus Gibberella fusicori, and thereby it is discovered, and hence this hormone is named as gibberellin. Several types of gibberellic acids. Gibberellins are present in the form of gibberellic acids. So several types of gibberellic acids are identified so far, and they are named after in series number, that is GA1, GA2, GA3, like that. Up to hundreds of gibberellic acids are available. And this is the chemical nature of gibberellic acid. Some important physiological effects of gibberellins are removal of genetic dwarfism. There are certain plants which are dwarf because of less internodal elongation. They are not taller. So if we spray the gibberellins to them, so that will promote the elongation of internode, and thereby the plant become taller. So you can make the plant more taller by the applications of gibberellic acids. Seed germination. Some seeds may fail to germinate, so by the applications of gibberellins we can remove the dormancy, and thereby we can induce the seeds to germinate and to form the new plant. Bolting and flowering. Dear students, this is something interesting. You know that for example, cabbage, then radish, onion, cauliflower, where the stem is short, less growth. It is in the form of a disc or highly reduced. Only at the time of flowering, there will be a sudden appearance of an axis, and this axis will produce the flower. So this sudden and rapid outcome of an axis from the stem is known as what? Bolting. So the cabbage, cauliflower and other things will produce the flower on that axis, which comes very later. So you can induce the coming out of the stem and also flower by the applications of gibberellins. So it will occur naturally. If we want to induce quickly, we can apply the gibberellins. And like auxins, the gibberellins also help in the parthenocarpy, that is development of fruits without fertilization. And another very interesting hormone is cytokinin. As the name itself indicates, this growth promoter will promote the growth with the help of cell division. That is why they are named as cytokinins. So they are identified in all vascular plants. They were discovered from the fungi also. There are several types of cytokinins are available. They are produced in different part of the plant body. For example, kinetin, benzyl aminopurine, zeatin, benzyl amine. So like that different types of cytokinins are available. So this is the chemical nature of cytokinin. So cytokinins, as I said, it induces cell division. For growth of the plant, the fundamental requirement is what? Cell division. If new cells are formed, then there will be growth. So cell division is induced by the cytokinins. So that is why, particularly in the tissue culture and other things, wherever we want to induce the division, cell division, there will be applications of cytokinins. So after cell division, the cells formed will be smaller. We can bring them to the normal size by means of cell expansion. So that is also helped by what? Cytokinins. In the tissue culture, from the callus we can induce the organs like root and shoot, what we call organogenesis. So that is also carried out with the help of cytokinins. So therefore it is used in the tissue culture. Delay in senescence, very important. Senescence is nothing but the aging of the plant. So you can delay the aging of the plant. Yellowing of leaves can be delayed by the applications of cytokinins. So if the stomata are not opened properly to facilitate the transpiration and exchange of gases, we can induce the opening of stomata by the applications of cytokinins. And plant growth inhibitors. So it will counteract with the plant growth inhibitors and thereby it will promote the growth. Students, now let us discuss about the second one, plant growth inhibitors. There are two important growth inhibitors. As the name says, they inhibit or they reduce or they stop the growth. First one is abscisic acid, ABA, which is commonly known as. There are different types of abscissin, and of course they were discovered in 1960. Abscissin 1, abscissin 2, like that. They are produced in the stem, leaf and all. So you know that many plants shed their leaves, fruits and all. We don't find a cut mark on the branches. Soft surface we can see. It is because clear formation or separation of the leaves, fruits and other parts. There will be formation of a layer called abscission layer. So that will separate the leaf, fruits and other things from the stem so that the surface is seen soft. So this abscission is mainly due to the abscisic acid. If it is in more quantity, naturally it leads to the loss of more leaves and flowers and fruits. So therefore it is considered as what? Growth inhibiting hormone. So this is a chemical structure of the abscisic acid. As I said, it leads to the formation of a separation layer or the cutting layer. Thereby the plants are separated. So if abscisic acid accumulate in the seeds, it will prevent the active growth of the embryo. So therefore the seed dormancy is induced by abscisic acid. So in order to reduce the growth and in order to prevent the metabolic activities during the dry conditions, particularly abscisic acid will help in the closure of stomata. So therefore it can be used as anti-transpirant. If you want to reduce the transpiration in the crop, one can apply the abscisic acid so that the growth can be protected. Formation of perinating birds. Perinating birds means these are the birds which can survive during unfavorable conditions. For example, birds present on the ginger, potato, etc. They can survive, but when the conditions become normal, they can grow and form the new plants. Senescence of leaves, that is aging of leaves. So leaves fall down after yellowing, that is mainly because of the accumulation of abscisic acid. So lastly, let us discuss about ethylene. So ethylene is the only plant hormone which is in the gaseous form. So ethylene is very important as far as the fruit ripening is concerned. C2H4 chemical nature. So that is why it is commonly known as fruit ripening hormone. In fact, several fruit sellers forcibly ripen the fruits by using the substances having ethylene, ethaphone like that, and therefore the taste will be less. So ripening of fruits is a very important character of this hormone. Triple response growth. So this hormone reduces the linear growth, it promotes the horizontal growth and also transverse geotropism. So because of these three effects, this is called triple response growth. So like abscisic acid, it will also help in the leaf abscission and the flowers become older or yellow. So aging of flower also due to ethylene. If the plant produces more ethylene, flowers will become older and fall down without forming the flower. On the other hand, it also induces the flowering. So that is why some people says that ethylene is both inhibiting as well as growth promoting hormone. And the last point is that it increases root growth and root hair formation, and thereby the growth of the plant is indirectly promoted by the ethylene. If growth is formed well, root growth occurs well, root hairs formed well, then what happens? The plant absorbs water sufficiently, and thereby the growth of the plant occurs. So that is why I said ethylene acts as both growth promoting and also to some extent growth inhibiting hormone. Well students, that's all about growth regulators. I have already circulated notes to you, so those who don't have the notes, you can get from me or from your friends. As far as the examination point of view, definitely 2 hormones will be asked in the examination. You try to remember the physiological applications of the hormones. For the 5 marks or the 10 mark questions, they definitely ask what are the physiological applications of auxins, gibberellins, like that. Any hormones they can ask. So you practice well. As you are at home now, you can make use of all these online technology. You can search the Gnana Nidhi. In fact, a separate YouTube made by the Department of Collegiate Education. You search the videos from Gnana Nidhi, general videos from YouTube, and also the video which I share to you. In total, you work hard and make use of all the technology. And if you have still doubts, I hope you all my number. You can WhatsApp me and you can call me, and you can clarify your doubts. So we shall meet as soon as the lockdown is over. Wish you all good day. Thank you.